Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the COVID-19 Minute Clinic. If you're here today on our call, I'll be working with 2 volunteers. So if you're feeling any type of anger or frustration or depression or anxiety or worry or stress about COVID-19, then that's not unusual to feel those things, those emotions. And these emotions that we're feeling around COVID-19 are very real, and they impact us in different ways. So today, what I'm going to be doing here today in our Minute Clinic is I'm going to be helping people to identify and release any negative thoughts or negative emotions, all to do with COVID-19. So if you just joined us here today, you can just put your name in the comments and where you're calling from. So COVID-19 Minute Clinic. Hi, my name is John Schlapbach, and I'm a certified body code, emotion code practitioner. I've been involved with working with the physical body for over 40 years in holistic health. And I started working with the mind back in the 70s and 80s and put the two together and started to working with the mind-body connection. So if you just joined us here today, just say hi and welcome to our COVID-19 Minute Clinic. We'll be running these Minute Clinics Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific time for the month of May. So just say hello if you just joined us here. I'm in the Kelowna, British Columbia, in the beautiful Okanagan Valley, about 300 miles inland from the Vancouver, from the Pacific Ocean. This is a semi-arid area here. We grow apples and oranges and peaches and plums and a huge wine industry here. It's also known as Canada's California. So if you're just joining us here, just say hi and welcome to the COVID-19 Minute Clinic. Today I'll be working on 2 volunteers. For anyone who's felt some sense of anxiety or worry or fear or depression or any type of those emotions or thoughts or feelings around COVID-19, those thoughts, feelings, and emotions are very real. But they also are having an impact on you overall, on your health and well-being. So welcome. If you just joined us, just say who you are and where you're from, and we'll be doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic here today. Now, this work that I'm doing here, that I've been doing since actually started doing this work in 2007. This work comes from this book. You may have seen this before. It's called The Emotion Code. I know it's backwards right now on your screen, by Dr. Bradley Nelson, with a foreword by Tony Robbins. Some of you may have heard of Tony Robbins. Greg Braden. These are people that endorse Dr. Nelson's work. So the Emotion Code came about over many, many years. And it was developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson, who's a holistic chiropractor from the States. And I was just saying hi to Lorraine there. Hi, Lorraine. How are you today? Yes, so in 2007, someone had mentioned to me about getting Dr. Nelson's book, The Emotion Code. It was just a new release. And I was pretty excited about that because I knew Dr. Nelson already from a previous wellness company that we've been involved with, energy medicine company. So I knew of him already, and I knew he was a pretty cool guy. But then once I was told to get his book, I went out right away and I purchased the Emotion Code book. Now, this is the 2nd edition. I have the 1st edition here. So this is an updated version. So I went out and I purchased the Emotion Code book, and I started, before I even finished the book, I started doing some work on myself. I was already using muscle testing or muscle response testing. I'll explain a little bit in a few minutes, but I was also already using that muscle response testing or applied kinesiology for nutritional supplements, which I learned back in the 70s from a master practitioner, how to muscle test to see if you're lacking vitamin C or vitamin D or vitamin E or whatever it was, how to muscle test to see what your body was short of or what it needed. And at the same time, he was able to bring me out into this place where there was this wall of all kinds of different herbs and nutritional supplements. And he would say, okay, John, you need some vitamin D. So he would take the different brands that he had on the shelf and he would hold them against my chest. I don't know, some of them, you may have seen this before. We would hold those brands against my chest and he would muscle test to see which ones were strongest for me. And the ones that were strongest for me was the ones that were the brand that I would take. Not only that, he tested to see how much I should take and for how long. So that's applied kinesiology, and I'll explain that a little bit more as we're going along. And I'll just shout out here to Lana as well. Hi, Lana. Hope you're having a good day. Hope it's nice and sunny up where you are. We've got a nice sunny day here today in the Okanagan. It rained really hard last night, so our plants love the rain here. So hope you're having a good day up there as well. So if you just joined us, welcome to the COVID-19 Minute Clinic. And today, during our Minute Clinic, we're going to be working on people that have any type of negative thoughts or emotions, all to do with COVID-19. For example, if you're feeling some anxiety around COVID-19, maybe some worry, maybe some fear, maybe some frustration, maybe even some depression, or maybe you're feeling just overall overwhelmed by everything that's going on to do with COVID-19. I know for all of us it's a new experience being involved with something like this, and it's a one day at a time type of thing that we're having to deal with, but at the same time we can end up having these negative emotions or negative thoughts about a particular incident or situation like COVID-19, and we could end up taking those thoughts or emotions and holding on to them in our energetic body. That's what we call a trapped emotion. So when we're doing the emotion code, and that's what we'll be focusing on mostly today, is the emotion code. When we're doing the emotion code, and what I'll be using is I'll be using this little chart here. It's called the emotion code chart. I know it's backwards on your screen, but on the replay it'll show up in the right direction, hopefully. So there's all these different emotions that can impact us in our lives from different events, from the time we were young, even babies in the wombs, even young kids can have what we call trapped emotions. And what happens is when we have an emotion going on in our maybe we're consciously thinking about fear or anger, but at some point we may take that emotion and put it into our subconscious mind. And that's pretty significant. Anything that we put into our subconscious mind becomes a part of us. For example, if you have a lot of fear vibrating in your energy field, guess what? You're going to stay in a place of fear. Not only that, you're going to attract situations in your life that keep you in that place of fear. So again, we're using the emotion code chart here to help to identify any emotion or emotions you're feeling to do, or that are affecting you to do with COVID-19. And there's 60 emotions here, 2 columns. 6 rows, 2 columns, A and B, and we use muscle testing to find out what emotions are we talking about. And I don't know if you'll notice this, but some emotions are connected to the heart and the small intestine, some to the stomach, the spleen, liver, gallbladder. A lot of these emotions are connected to different organs and glands. And so they will vibrate at these emotions. So example, kidneys tend to generate things like fear and horror and peeved, and also different emotions like this that are generated by the kidneys. So when they're stimulated, they'll generate these different emotions. And again, each organ or gland may generate its own type of emotions. So for example, if you're stuck in a place of maybe some fear, or you're ticked off in general around COVID-19, then what happens is they're being generated by your kidneys or bladder, and those kidneys are connected to your upper back, your neck, your shoulders, your jaw, also connected to your lower back and your hips through different muscle connections. So a lot of times when people have chronic low back pain, the kidneys are involved. There's emotions that are generated by the kidneys that are caught up in your energy field that are leading to some of your discomfort. So each one of these emotions that we'll address here today for anyone, it generates, again, it vibrates at its own frequency. And everything vibrates at a frequency. So anything that vibrates at a higher frequency raises our vibration. If it vibrates at a lower frequency, it lowers our vibration. So imagine being happy and joyful, and how that raises your vibration, how you can feel the energy of that, how you feel so good. Not only does it make you feel good in your mind, but your body actually feels good with this. So we're emotional beings. And if we weren't emotional beings, life would be very, very boring for all of us. So all of our emotions that we experience in our life, we do not hold on to all of them. If we held on to every time we experience fear or anger or frustration, if we hung on to all of those emotions every time we felt these emotions, most of us would not be able to function. So it's important to be able to identify these emotions and release them. So welcome if you just joined us today for our COVID-19 Minute Clinic. We'll be doing these clinics on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from on 9 a.m. Pacific time for the month of May. And I'm here to delete any negative emotions or thoughts that you may have that are associated with COVID-19. Again, there may be some anxiety, some worry, maybe some frustration to do with COVID-19. Whatever emotions that you're feeling, it's very important to understand that as emotional beings, that it's okay to express our emotions. It's important to express our emotions. And because we're emotional beings and it's important to express our emotions, when we don't express those emotions, what happens is we may hold on to them, and then they become part of us. So once they become a part of you, they can have an impact on you. They can affect you physically. They can affect you mentally, spiritually. One of the number one causes of unexplained chronic pain are trapped emotions. I'll give you an example. I was working with a lady a number of months ago during one of the classes I was teaching, and she had suggested to me that she had had lower back pain for a number of years. And so I'd ask her, so, I mean, how long have you had this back pain? Where is it in your back exactly? And how does it impact you? So she had had this back pain for over 29 years. Unexplained back pain for over 29 years. She tried everything. She tried massage, chiropractor, different types of medication, all kinds of things, lotions and potions, everything to try to get rid of this back pain. But it was there constantly, daily on it. So of course, it's going to impact you mentally and physically as well, and you're emotionally. To have something like that all the time definitely has an effect on us. So I asked her if she would like to see if we can maybe do something to help her out with her back pain, and she said yes. So what I did, I was able to do the muscle testing. The way that works is I do what's called proxy work. Once I have the emotion code chart, I can take my subconscious and move it away and energetically connect to her subconscious and then muscle test for her subconscious. So I was able to locate 2 or 3 emotions that were all caught up in her lower back. I think actually a couple of them were generated by the kidneys, maybe one by the bladder, maybe one by the liver. And each time I released emotion, her back felt a little bit better, a little bit better. By the time we were done releasing 3 or 4 emotions, her back pain that she'd had for 29 years was gone. It was completely gone. I checked in with her a few weeks later, still no back pain. So if you're dealing with chronic pain, it may be the emotions that are contributing to this chronic pain. It may be all emotionally based, or it may actually be emotions and a combination of emotions, and maybe the fact is you need a little adjustment in your back. Well, we can find that out for you. Why? Because we're working with your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is an interesting part of our mind, because we've heard of our conscious mind, and then the subconscious mind. Well, the conscious mind sort of sits on top of the subconscious mind in a sense. Your conscious mind is when you make conscious choices or decisions in the moment to do certain things, and you're very conscious of those choices. Your subconscious mind is also known as your supermind. So this is an interesting part of your mind, and that's the part that we work with here with the body code, emotion code. Your subconscious mind knows everything about you. Everything from the time that you were born, from the time that you were conceived, even everything that you've ever experienced, ever touched, ever felt in your whole life is recorded in your subconscious mind. You know, when they talk about meditation, they talk about if you're looking for an answer for something, they always say, well, maybe do some meditation, for those of you that meditate. So what happens when we meditate? We go from our conscious state into our subconscious state, into the subconscious state. And the interesting thing is our subconscious mind is connected to the divine. So we go within and we go into our subconscious to seek answers for certain things. And then once we get those answers, the answers bubble up from the subconscious mind into our conscious awareness. And that's quite often when we have things like ahas and things like that, revelations. So that's the part of the mind that we're working with, that subconscious mind. So when we're doing emotion code, I use the 7-step process. Again, we use the emotion code chart. We use muscle testing. We use proxy, where we fill in for your subconscious mind. And we also need permission for us to work on you. We need permission to work on you. We also need to know the severity of that situation you're dealing with, whether it's anger or frustration or anxiety around COVID-19. How severe is that for you on a scale of 1 to 10? And then we need to make sure that we're drinking lots of water, because water helps to flush out toxins from our body. So when we're releasing these emotions from our subconscious mind, once we release them, they're gone and gone forever, those particular emotions related to that person or that event or that situation. And water helps the body to process, for the body to process the releasing that as well. So if you just joined us today, just say hi. I'm here in Kelowna, British Columbia. We're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the month of May from 9 a.m. Pacific time or 12 noon Eastern time. So we're looking here for 2 volunteers, 2 people that we can work on today that are having issues or things to do with COVID-19. Maybe it's affecting them. Maybe it's affecting a family member, a child or a family member. And if it's having that impact, you know for sure, if you're vibrating at some fear or anxiety, you know you're attracting that to yourself. You know, the law of attraction says that whatever you're putting out there, basically, whatever vibration you're putting out there, whether it's a positive or a negative vibration, is what you're attracting to yourself. So the way we change our vibration simply is being more conscious of what we're vibrating at, what we're putting out there, our thoughts. So when we're putting out these negative thoughts and negative emotions, they can have an impact on our physical health. They can impact our relationships. They can impact our ability to connect with other people. They can impact our work, our success, Sometimes it's what's holding us back from having more success in our life. So they can impact us in many ways. And I'll give you another example. I was working with a lady a few weeks back who was dealing with some, she had what we call a lot of emotions caught up around her heart area. And this is what in emotion code we refer to it as a heart wall. So if you haven't have your heart wall identified or released, that's at least, if you're going to do one thing with the emotion code, at least get your heart wall released. So she had all these emotions around her heart that she built up over many years, and they were causing her to behave certain ways, and again, it affects the way you think, the way you behave, how you respond to situations. And these emotions had been building since she was very young. So we were able to identify these emotions, and there were several of them. Sometimes in a heart wall, or this invisible wall we put around our heart, sometimes we can find 10, 20 emotions, sometimes 50 or 60 emotions that are all caught up in our energy field. And so I did the work on her. We identified all the different emotions. We released them all. And she felt just great afterwards. She said, it's been so long since I felt at peace with myself. You know anyone like that? Maybe you're struggling somewhere in your life. Maybe it's in your relationship. Maybe it's in your to do with your health. Maybe it's to do with your work or success on some level. And a lot of times it's these emotions that are impacting us. So again, these emotions, and you can see that chart in behind me here, these are 60 common emotions that most people feel or experience in their lives, and sometimes many, many times we have experienced the same emotion over and over and over and over again. And sometimes when we feel those emotions, we will hold on to them in our energy field. And when we hold on to them in our energy field, then we're looking for imbalances. So in other words, if you have trapped emotions that are in your liver, for example, they can be affecting your shoulder. They can also maybe be affecting your lungs or your chest or other areas. So they can go to other areas. So they can affect muscles, they can affect organs, they can affect glands, they can affect our immune system. And that's something I did on our last session, which I will do today for people. I will be checking if you want. Just give me a yes, and I will, and your permission, I will check your immune system for functioning. We'll see how well it's functioning, percentage-wise, and then once we determine how well it's functioning, we want to make sure it's functioning to the highest capacity. And a lot of times, it's these trapped emotions that are affecting our immune system. So every day during this COVID-19, I've been checking my immune system to make sure that it's functioning at a high level. So, yes, so I see here we've got Gay10. Hi, Gay10. How are you today? And we've got Stephanie here. Stephanie, she's given us her permission here, and this is to... Is this for your immune system here, Stephanie? You've been doing a cleanse for 7 days and you're taking vitamins. So what we'll do is we will check your immune system for functioning. And not only that, we'll find out how well it's functioning. And if it's not functioning where it needs to be, we can find out why. Remember, your subconscious knows everything about you. We'll find out why it's not functioning to its ultimate capacity. So again, when we do this, we're going to use muscle testing. I use the ring and ring testing here. And so a yes is as strong as resistance, and a no is when it lets go or it's a weak. So show me a yes, show me a no. My name is John, that's a yes. My name is Bob, that's a no. Am I hydrated enough here to work on Stephanie? I'm getting a no on that. Not hydrated enough to work on you, Stephanie. So guess what? Let me just grab my water here. It's very important to drink lots of water while you're actually doing this work as a practitioner. And it's very important to drink lots of water after your work. And for you, Stephanie, who've been doing a cleanse for a number of days here as well, it's very, very important that you drink a lot of good, healthy water to flush those toxins out. So let's have a little sip here. And I'm drinking what's called structured water, which I've drank that type of water for many, many years. Millions of people do. It's very healthy water. So now my name is John. That's a yes. My name is Bob. Show me a yes. Show me a no. Am I hydrated enough here to work on Stephanie? Yes, I am. Okay, Stephanie. So, and this is to do with, you've been doing a cleanse as well. But let me ask, so now that I have your permission, Stephanie, I'm going to say, can I act as a proxy then for Stephanie? Yes, I can. Stephanie K, yes. Am I Stephanie? Yes. Am I John? No. So now I'm testing a yes for Stephanie, which means I'm connected energetically to her subconscious mind. So whatever I'm going to ask, as long as we're connected energetically, whatever I'm going to ask, I'm looking for a yes or no answer. So am I Stephanie? Yes. Am I John? No. So Stephanie, can we check your immune system here for functioning? We're getting a yes on that. So how well is your immune system functioning? Is it functioning over 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90? 83% right now. Immune system is running at 83% here, Stephanie. You know, most people would be very happy to have their immune system running at 80% or more, which I think is good. You need to be running at least 80% or more, especially with COVID-19 or any other types of viruses or flus going around. One of the biggest things, if you have a strong, healthy immune system, you have less chance of having negative effects with COVID-19. Your body was designed to heal itself and defend itself. So we have to keep our immune system healthy. So yours is running at 83% here, Stephanie. So let me ask, is there a reason why for you, Stephanie, why it's only running at 83% here? And we're getting a yes here. So is it emotional? We're getting a yes for you, Stephanie. I remember these trapped emotions can depress our immune system. Imagine feeling depressed for so long, or angry or frustrated. All that lowers your vibration, which lowers your immune system. So how many emotions for you, Stephanie, are involved with the functioning or affecting the functioning of your immune system? Now, how many emotions are we talking about? There's 3 of them. I'm getting 3. So can we identify them? Yes. So that's when we go to our chart here, and we're going to ask, is that there's 3 emotions. Are any of them in column A in the chart? Yes. Are they all in column A? No. How many are in column A here? Just 1. So which row are we talking about for you here, Stephanie? Row number 1, 2, 3, 4. Row number 6, column A. And row 6 is actually the glandular row here, so it can impact your glands. So what emotion are we talking about that's impacting your immune system? Is it humiliation? No. Is it jealousy? Is it longing? Is it lust? It's overwhelmed. So there's a trapped emotion of overwhelmed, or an unprocessed emotion of overwhelm that's impacting your immune system, and it's affecting its ability to function at its higher level. So there's 3 of them. So let me ask, are any others in column A? No, they're in column B. So any in row 1, row 2, row 3? That's the lung colon row, and that's you want to keep your lungs clear of these emotions for sure, to keep them healthy, and your colon as well. So sometimes it'll show up as a digestive issue for someone. So let me see here. Is it confusion, defensiveness? There's some grief here as well, overwhelmed and grief. I don't know if that makes sense here for you, Stephanie. There's some grief as well, which is impacting your lung or your colon, which is impacting your immune system. And remember, there was 3, so what's the next one? Is it in column A or B? Which row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Row number 6, again, the glandular row. So which one is it here? Is it pride? Is it shock? There's some shock there. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but right now there's 3 emotions, Stephanie, that are impacting your immune system. Overwhelmed, grief, and shock. Now remember, you can trap an emotion when you're 3 and it shows up at 33 as an issue for you. So we can trap these emotions many years ago related to different people, different events, situations, And sometimes we're in a situation and then it brings the emotion up, it brings it out, or it's showing itself in some way as physical pain or chronic pain or some kind of issue. So overwhelm, grief, and shock. So she's saying, yes, it does make sense to her. So I'm going to ask, are all of these emotions, are all of these your own emotions here, Stephanie? No, they're not all your own. So I'm going to ask, how many are your own? There's 2 of them are your own. So which 2 are yours? Is it overwhelmed and grief? Overwhelmed and grief are your emotions. And shock, is that your own? No, it's what we call picked up or absorbed. So there's different types of emotions here that we work on. There's standard trapped emotion. And then there's emotions that we can absorb from other people. So the way that works is if I'm feeling really good and I go visit my friend George and George is all depressed and I leave an hour later, now I'm feeling depressed. Now at that point I could consciously choose to hang on to it. Then it becomes part of my energy field, or I could let it go. So absorbed emotions are emotions that we pick up or absorb usually from other people. It may be about the same situation or event, but we're feeling their emotion and we're feeling it and we're taking it on. So any of you that have children know that sometimes you know when your kids are not happy or they're sad or they're lonely or they're angry or something's going on. Even sometimes when they're not even with you, when they could be 100, 200 miles away and you can feel their emotions. How do we do that? It's energetic. We're all connected. So you picked up shock from someone. I'm going to ask, it was a family member is what I'm getting. I don't know if that makes sense. So sometimes all we need to know is just the emotion. For the most part, we just need to know the emotion and then we can just delete it, right? So overwhelm, grief, and shock. So again, do we need to know more in order to release these emotions here for you then, Stephanie? We're getting a no on that. So the way we release the emotions is I use a magnet. And this is what is called a Nikken magnet. I use the Nikken magnets as Dr. Nelson did from the very beginning. He's been with Nikken for years. We use the Nikken magnets. We can use them to release our trapped emotions, but we can also use them for other things. Sore, achy, just erase it away. So we take that magnet and we run it along the central governing meridian. And that runs in between your eyebrows all the way over the top to the base of your skull. Your central governing meridian is connected to your whole energy field. So Stephanie says she has one like this as well. So when we release most trapped emotions, we're going to delete them. We're going to run that magnet over that central governing meridian at least 3 times to release most emotions. Sometimes it takes a few more swipes, and if that's the case, we usually will find out, or intuitively we'll get that sense. So I'm going to ask, is there anything we need to know in order to release these emotions for you here then, Stephanie? And I'm getting a no on that. So we're going to release, first of all, releasing the emotion of overwhelmed for you. And we're going to release the emotion of grief here for you. And we're going to release that absorbed emotion of shock. We're going to give you a few extra rolls on that. So one thing we didn't test you for, though, before we started here was the severity of these emotions here for you. But we'll check that in a minute here. So I'm gonna ask you to take a breath here, Stephanie. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And did release these emotions here for you then, Stephanie? Yes, we did. Were they released to 100%? Yes. So that's important. When we're releasing an emotion, we want to make sure we delete it to 100%. 99% of the time, that's what happens. Every once in a while, we need to check. There's maybe something we need to do, roll it a few more times or something else. So did release those emotions for you. Yes, they were released to 100%. So am I still Stephanie? Yes. So now how well is your immune system functioning here, Stephanie, on a percentage-wise? Is it functioning over 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100? So 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97%. Doesn't that sound better, Stephanie? Having your immune system running at 97% is better than 83. A lot of people would be happy with 83 or 80%, but I'm not. I want it running as best as I can, especially nowadays. So if you can just wait a minute or so, Stephanie, give us a comment as to how you're feeling or how you're doing. And we'll take it from there. So if you just joined us, we're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic. And we are looking to delete any negative emotions or thoughts you may have in regards to COVID-19. So, for example, if you're feeling some anxiety or some fear or maybe some grief or maybe some depression or frustration around COVID-19, we can identify those emotions using our emotion code chart and muscle testing and delete them for you. And Stephanie here says, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Stephanie, for volunteering. So we're going to look for another volunteer here for today. So what we need from you, first of all, we need that feeling or emotion that you might be feeling or thoughts you're feeling around COVID-19. Perhaps it's a family member. And as long as your children are under the age of 18, we can also work on your children here with your permission. Once they're at the age of 18, they're adults, we need their permission. So I use the emotion code. I've used it. Actually, my youngest client was a baby in the womb. So I worked on babies in the womb, cleared a bunch of their negative emotions before they were born. And I've worked on 1-year-olds and 2- and 3-year-olds and little kids. But mostly I work on adults. And I do some work on animals as well. A lot of people specialize in using the emotion code on animals as well because it works just as good, especially our pets, because they have all the same emotions that we do. We pick up on their emotions and they pick up on ours. So if you just joined us today, I'm looking for one more volunteer to work on. And what do I need? I need to know the thoughts or feelings that you may have around COVID-19, the severity of those emotions on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 is very severe. And your permission to do the work. And then after we've done the work, we'll ask you to give us an update and wait a minute or so, give us an update to how you're doing. And we've got Quentin here as well. Hi, Quentin. Thanks for joining us here today. So if you just joined us, we're doing this COVID-19 Minute Clinic on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. From 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and this is Pacific time. We will be doing these for the month of May. And so I see Quentin here just mentioned he's got a bad pain in his shoulder. Unfortunately, we're not working on chronic pain here today, Quentin. We're mostly working on things to do with the immune system or COVID-19, how it's impacting you. If you'll stay tuned in, we are doing, I'll be doing COVID Minute Clinics coming up here on chronic pain. So we're going to delete, lower, lessen, or delete your chronic pain within minutes. I'll be doing minute clinics on seasonal allergies as well. Most people think seasonal allergies are caused from pollen. But no, it's mostly all to do with trapped emotions. So I'll be working on chronic pain. I'll have chronic pain minute clinics, seasonal allergies, and also I'll be working on deleting certain food or drink items that you want. For example, if you want to delete Coca-Cola, if you want to drink or get rid of potato chips or some kind of food or drink, we'll be doing our minute clinics on those for you. Quentin says that his pain is stress related, it's not chronic. So really what we're looking here more, when it comes to pain, we're looking more for chronic pain. Pain that you've had for at least 3 months or more, it's unexplained, and quite often, maybe it's on a scale with 10 being very severe, it may be a 5 or a 6 or a 7 or maybe a 9 out of 10. So on our upcoming minute clinics, we'll be focusing on chronic pain. So you'll have to join us through with that one there, Quentin. Today we're working on COVID-19. Any negative thoughts or feelings you may have to do with COVID-19. That's what we're focusing on here today. Or bringing your immune system, checking for its functioning and bring it up to capacity as much as we can. Okay, so here's one here. Lorraine has put in here, there's some, it looks like fear of not being in control of results from COVID. Well, that's a very valid emotion to feel around not being in control of results from COVID. And you know, when it comes down to it, most of us, this is new for a lot of us. We have no idea where this is going. We don't know how long it's going to be around. We've had lots of other viruses and stuff around. Some last for a long time. So there's a lot of fear around COVID-19 simply because we don't have those answers. So what Lorraine is saying is fear of not being in control of results from COVID. So Lorraine, if you can just give us an indication of the severity maybe of that fear around that on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 is very severe. And maybe it's a 5, maybe it's a 6. If you can give us a little update on that as well, we'll add that. So she's given me permission to work on her. So before I do the work on Lorraine, again, just give us a sense of that severity of that fear around really not being in control of results from COVID-19 here. She said it's about a 7 out of 10. Okay, so let's test. We're going to, again, I'm going to take my subconscious, I'm going to move it aside, connect to her subconscious, and then we'll find out what's going on. So, am I John? Yes. Am I Bob? No. Am I hydrated enough here to work on Lorraine? Yes, I am. Okay, so can I act as a proxy then for Lorraine Martin? Yes, I can. Do I have a good connection with Lorraine? Yes, I do. My name is Lorraine. Yes, my name is John. No. So now we're connected, energetically connected here to Lorraine. So whatever I'm going to test or any questions we're going to ask of your subconscious mind, I'll be looking for yes or no answers. So this fear, this sort of unknowingness there is around COVID-19, the results around COVID-19, not in being in control of results. So how severe is that issue for you? On a scale of 1 to 10, Lorraine, is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? It's about an 8 out of 10. I think she said it was a 7. But when we ask your subconscious mind, remember, it knows everything about you. So you may think it's a 7, but when we ask the subconscious, your subconscious is telling us, no, it's actually an 8 out of 10. So I'm going to ask, is there a reason for this for you here, Lorraine? And I'm getting a yes on that. So is it emotional? Yes. So how many emotions are we talking about for you here, Lorraine? There's 2 of them tied into this. Again, this is to do with fear of not being in control of the results, not knowing what's from COVID, what's going to happen, there's so much uncertainty around it. So there's 2 emotions that you have around that. The severity is an 8 out of 10. So again, let's find out what emotions they are. Again, we're going to use the emotion code chart. Are any of them in column A? No, they're actually both in column B. So which row are they in the same row in column B? Yes. So which row? 1, 2, 3. Well, interesting. Row 3 is your lung colon row, and you want to keep them healthy and happy. So when there's trapped emotions in these organs and glands, they're not functioning to their ultimate capacity, and they're not always happy. Right? They're functioning, but they're not happy. So row 3, column B, so there's some confusion there, which makes sense. Trapped emotional confusion, not being in control of results from COVID. And what's the next one? Again, is it in column A, column B? Which row? 1, 2, 3. So again, confusion was one of them. What's this next one? Let's look here. Is it some defensiveness, some grief? No, there's some self-abuse around this COVID-19, some self-abuse around that. Now that's very, very common emotion. It comes up all the time for people, self-abuse. And when we say self-abuse, we're not necessarily talking physical self-abuse. Most of the time, it's emotional. We're beating up on ourselves emotionally. That's what it is most of the time. So this self-abuse, is this your own? Yes, it is the confusion, that trapped emotion. It's yours as well. So they're both yours. Are they picked up? No. Are they shared with someone else? No. Are they hidden? No. Are there psychic trauma emotions? No. Are there Vibrational resonances of confusion and self-abuse, no. So again, there's many ways these emotions show up. So we've got confusion and self-abuse for you. Severity was an 8 out of 10. Not being in control of results from COVID-19. So I'm going to ask for you, Lorraine, is there anything else we need to know in order to release them? And I'm getting a no on that. So we're going to release those for you. We're going to release the confusion around this whole fear, uncertainty around COVID-19. We're going to release the self-abuse, emotional self-abuse it is for you. I tested around COVID-19. And any, just to cover our bases here, Lorraine, any hidden confusion around that, or shared confusion, or vibrational resonances of confusion, any hidden self-abuse, any shared self-abuse, absorbed self-abuse, all around that COVID-19. Take a breath for us on that, Lorraine. So did we release those emotions for you here, Lorraine? Yes, we did. Were they released to 100%? Yes, to 100% they were released. So I'm going to ask, what is the severity of now this issue for you here, Lorraine, about not being in control of the results from the COVID-19? What's the severity of that issue for you now on a scale of 1 to 10? Is it a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? It's down to a 0. And that's what we want to do if it's chronic pain or seasonal allergies or whatever it is. We want to try to knock it down, get it down to a 0. And if we get it down to a 0, sometimes that's all we need to do. Sometimes we need to go in a few days later. It's gone up to a 2 again. We just need to knock it down. So if you can just maybe wait a minute or so here, Lorraine, and just give us a little quick update as to how you're feeling or how you're doing, if any of those emotions make sense to you. So again, welcome if you're just joining us. We're doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the month of May. So if you want to stay tuned for my my upcoming sort of COVID-19, minute clinics, I'll be doing one on chronic pain. I'll be doing one on seasonal allergies, doing one in food or drink addictions. Those are upcoming minute clinics we have. There'll be many other subjects that we'll be working on for people, and these are free minute clinics here, just giving you a sample or an example of how this how it actually works. And I've been doing this work since 2007 to help hundreds and hundreds of people all over the world with the Emotion Code Body Code. I'm just going to explain a little bit of a difference between the Emotion Code Body Code. I am a Body Code practitioner now. In order to become a Body Code practitioner, you have to first get certified in the Emotion Code program. And then once you're certified in the Emotion Code program, then you can apply for certification in the Body Code. The Body Code is the master program. There's 6 different categories that we look at for trying to get to the source of people's issues, whether it's energetic imbalances, toxins, whether it's misalignments, lifestyle, nutritional lifestyle, 6 different categories that we use. But most of the time, that's the master program. Most of the time we're in the Emotion Code. Why? Because most of the time emotions are the main underlying imbalance that's causing these issues. So Lorraine had just mentioned to us that just let go of all this worry and stress around it and stop dwelling on it. I know it's hard because it's on the news all the time. As a matter of fact, we don't watch the news now 3 or 4 times a day. We watch it maybe once a day now. So yeah, thanks for that, Lorraine. Thanks for volunteering here today. So if you all want to tag us here, we're going to be doing this again Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Just wanted to share something with you as well. Upcoming on the May the 24th, it's a Sunday, I will be on an online Emotion Code Summit with 4 other practitioners. There's going to be 5 practitioners here. We've done 2 Emotion Code Summits now. The first one was on for business owners and entrepreneurs. The second one we did was for abundance and money, any blocks to abundance or money. The next one we have coming up on the 24th on the Sunday is all to do with health. And each each one of us practitioners are going to take a different section of that. And I'll be focusing, I believe it's focusing on resistance to exercise. So anyone out there feeling you like to exercise, you know how important it is for you. You should be exercising, but you're just not quite doing it. Well, a lot of times that resistance to exercise is due to trapped emotions. So that'll be my part that I'm playing on that. And it's going to run on Sunday the 24th from 10 a.m. Pacific time to 3 p.m. Pacific time. So each one of us practitioners are going to take a section to do with health. I think John will be working on maybe resistance to drinking water. There'll be some different things there. So it'll be a 5-hour online summit. This will be our third one coming up. The first two were extremely successful. They've been shared all over, and it's just demonstrating our abilities to help people with the emotion code here. So that's upcoming on May the 24th. You're welcome to join us for that or come in at any part of that. That will be recorded as well, so you can go back and listen to or watch any of the practitioners. That's going to be on Michael Losier, L-O-S-I-E-R, fan, Facebook Live, Michael Losier, fan. So stay tuned for that upcoming event here on the Sunday. You're welcome to join us and tag some others to come along as well. So again, if you just joined us, we are doing the COVID-19 Minute Clinic here today. Just say hi and where you're from. And if you'd like for us to do a quick check of your immune system as well, just let us know. We've got Lorraine here, we've got Gaten and Claudette and Stephanie, and also we had Quentin here, and just to mention to Quentin, he wanted us to work on some shoulder pain, which normally I would be doing for people. However, we're focusing on COVID-19 on this Minute Clinic here today. So if you go to my website, Visions, V-I-S-I-O-N-S, visionshealing.com. If you go there, you can download what's called a session menu there. And this is all the different areas, not all of them, but most of the areas that I've had extreme success on helping other people with using the emotion code, body code. And I'll give you some examples here. Aching wrists, fingers, and hands. Creativity blocks, health blocks, money blocks, chronic fatigue, constipation, jealousy, knee pain, limiting beliefs about money, limiting beliefs about success, low self-esteem, anger issues, frustration, past negative events, neck pain, sinus problems, skin rashes, social anxiety, many things that we worked on. And I do have some programs specifically for businesses and entrepreneurs setting goals, abundance as well. So if you just go to my website, visionshealing.com, you can download a free copy of the session menu to see all the different areas that we've helped people with over the years. So I just wanted to say that thank you for our volunteers here today. We do have time maybe for one more volunteer if there's anyone there. I'm just going to share a few of the stories from our last one. There was a lady, I think it was 2 minute clinics ago. She was dealing with some issues to do with the fact that she wasn't able to travel at this time and visit her family. So it was having a huge impact on her. So once I was able to hook up with her subconscious again through the muscle testing, and we released some sadness around that whole issue here and some overwhelmed around this. And she also had what we call a psychic trauma emotions, and these were discovered after 9/11. And these are when we feel more than one emotion at the same time and can get caught up in that same sphere. So each time we trapped emotion, it's on its own sphere of energy. But sometimes we can feel more than one emotion simultaneously, and we can get more than one trapped in this sphere. So she had sadness, overwhelmed, and shock as well, all caught up together as well. We released all those emotions for her. She reported back that she felt much more relaxed and much lighter. And a lot of people say, I feel lighter after the work. Why? Because we're getting rid of baggage. this emotional baggage. And we're all carrying this emotional baggage. All of us carry emotional baggage. We take it with us in our lives. We bring it into our relationships. We bring it to our work. We bring it into any situation we're in. We bring our baggage with us. So why not just delete it if you can? Why not feel a little happier, a little healthier, a little lighter? And we can do this. And we can do this within a few minutes. Now, some of the work you've seen me do today, it's taken a little while, but most of the time, it's a minute or less to identify and release the emotions. I just identify them, boom, and I just delete them right there. So I'm just expanding a little bit of that on that today when I was doing some work, just to show you what's involved. So again, if you just joined us, we'll be back on Wednesday of this week, 9 a.m., doing our COVID-19 Minute Clinic. Feel free to tag some other people along. Come and join us for a free session here. So I just wanted to say another thing here as well. For most of you, again, like myself, it's very important that we learn to express our emotions and not to hold on to them as well. Because anytime we hold on to an emotion, it's trapped or caught up in our energy field. So it's very important, if we're feeling some anger, to be able to express some of that, to get some of it out. Because if we don't, we've heard that expression before, emotions can make you sick. And they can. The Center for Disease Control says that at least 80% of all diseases have some kind of an emotional component to them. So we're here to identify those emotions using our emotion code chart, using muscle testing, and using a magnet on the center and attention, and releasing those emotions for you. So thank you for joining us here today. We'll be back here on Wednesday. I hope it's sunny where you are today, like it is here in the Okanagan. So enjoy your day, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.